Aren't people entitled to ask, if your own brother can't back you, why should anyone else?
Well, actually, my own brother, as you'll have seen from what he said this afternoon, well, first of all, I want to pay great tribute. Andy's asking about my brother Joe, who's a fantastic guy and was a brilliant minister for science, for universities, did a fantastic amount of good work for us, for this country in that area. Now, Joe doesn't agree with me about the European Union because it's an issue that obviously divides families and divides everybody. But I think what Joe would agree is that we need to get on and sort this thing out. And I think what Joe certainly would agree, and I think he said as much this afternoon, is that this government has exactly the right priorities when it comes to dealing with the issues that really matter to the British people. And I'm talking about making our streets safer, I'm talking about improving our hospitals and improving our education service. So I thank Joe for all the work that he's done and for the support that he's given for our domestic agenda. And I'm going to go now to Paul Brand of ITV.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Prime Minister, if your own brother has lost faith in your plan...
I'm sorry, go on.
It's a related topic, Prime Minister, but a different question.
Oh, sorry.
If your own brother has lost faith in your plan, surely you'll have to be the next member of the Johnson family to resign.
Well, my intention, as I said just now, and I'm absolutely determined to do this, is to deliver on the mandate of the people. We have a democracy in this country. And the way we work is that when the people of Britain take a decision, parliamentarians are sworn to uphold that decision. And that's what we all said we would do several times in the House of Commons to respect the result of the 2016 referendum on the EU, when people voted by a very substantial majority to leave. We all said we would do it, and that is what I want to do. And I have to say, I think there is a stark contrast between my approach and I hate to be party political, but that is the sad reality, the approach of Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party, because at the moment he won't. Not only are they voting to make it impossible for this country to decide on its own to leave the EU, but they're also making it possible for the people of this country to have an election. I think he must be the first leader of the opposition in history to refuse to have an election. In fact, it seems to me to be a breach of his job description. If he's part of the opposition, he should be actively seeking an election. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. But my job is to get us out on October the 31st, and that is what we're going to do. Beth Rigby of Sky News.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, when you became Prime Minister, you said you would unite our country. Instead, you're splitting your party, and now even your own brother feels he cannot serve under you. If your own brother doesn't trust you to act in the national interest, why should all of we?
Well, as you'll have seen what Joe had to say about our agenda, and he's a strong... Look, people disagree about the EU. But the way to unite the country, I'm afraid, is to get this thing done. That is the reality. The longer this goes on, the more dither and delay we have from Parliament, inspired, I'm afraid, by Jeremy Corbyn, the worse this thing will be. What people want to see is a resolution, and they want to see us getting this thing done. And that's what we're going to do. Kate Ferguson from The Sun.
Hello, Prime Minister. Can you make a promise today to the British public that you will not go back to Brussels and ask for another delay to Brexit?
Yes.
And sorry.
I can.
And would you rather?
I'd rather be dead in a ditch.
So you would resign first, Prime Minister, rather than go and ask for that delay?
Look, I just don't. I really. It costs £1 billion a month. It achieves absolutely nothing. What on earth is the point of further delay? I think it's totally pointless. Claire Ellicott from the Daily Mail.
Thank you. Your own Chancellor has become the latest Tory MP to voice concerns about your purge of 21 rebels from the party. Do you regret your actions? Were they too hasty? And is there a way back for those MPs?
Well, let's be clear what we want to do. I think what this country wants and what people in Parliament want is to see us coming out of the EU on October the 31st. And I'm afraid that the bill that was passed yesterday, alas, really makes it much more difficult for us to negotiate. And what it says, it actually draws up the MPs wrote a letter that the Prime Minister would have to give to Brussels, demanding an extension beyond October the 31st, and then Brussels, the EU, would decide how long the UK was going to remain in the EU. And with the best will in the world, I cannot see how that is democratic unless that is put to the British people. I think if that is really what Parliament wants, to give the EU this power to keep us in the EU themselves, and to scupper the negotiations, then I think there should be a clear choice for the country. And we should decide, who do you want to be at that crucial summit on October the 17th? Do you want Jeremy Corbyn going there with his plan to extend and delay and keep us in the EU forever and a day, or do you want to settle this thing, bring us all together, and deliver on the mandate of the people? And that is what I will do. So for me, that is very, very clearly the way forward, and that's the point that I made to all my colleagues and friends in Parliament. And no one, of course, discipline is always tough, but here we are amongst a body of men and women who know that sometimes you have to administer discipline, and you have to be very clear about your message, and that's what we're being. So, Kate Proctor in the Guardian, from the Guardian.
Thank you, Kate Proctor from The Guardian. Prime Minister, exactly when are you going to hold an inquiry into Islamophobia in the Conservative Party that you promised to do on live television?
Well, we are going to have as I think Sajid Javid and I agreed, we're going to have a general inquiry into all manner of racism and hate crime as soon as that can be got underway. But I have to tell you, we have a zero tolerance policy towards Islamophobia and all manner of hate crime and prejudice in the Conservative Party, as you can imagine.